If your dog has ever rushed toward you or someone else and gone straight for an awkward sniff, you are definitely not alone. Almost every dog owner has experienced that sudden moment of embarrassment, confusion, or even discomfort. You pull the leash, you apologize, you try to redirect your dog, and inside your mind you are wondering, why does my dog do this? It feels inappropriate. It feels strange. It feels like something must be wrong. But here is the truth: most people never stop to consider your dog is not being weird, rude, or disrespectful. Your dog is being a dog. And what looks awkward to you is actually one of the most natural, meaningful, and important forms of communication in the canine world. Dogs do not experience the world the way humans do. You live in a world dominated by sight, words, and social rules built around comfort and personal space. Dogs live in a world dominated by scent. Smell is their primary sense. It is how they recognize individuals, understand emotions, detect changes, and gather information that would be completely invisible to you. When a dog sniffs, they are reading a story. When your dog sniffs a person, they are not focusing on the body part you feel embarrassed about. They are focusing on the richest source of information available to them. The human body produces scent from many areas, but certain areas produce much stronger chemical signals. Areas with sweat glands, especially apocrine glands, release pheromones and unique scent markers. These scent markers contain information about your identity, your emotional state, your health, your stress level, and even your hormonal changes. To your dog, this information is fascinating, it is meaningful, it is valuable. When your dog sniffs your private area, they are not thinking about social boundaries. They are thinking, who is this? How are they feeling? Are they stressed? Are they calm? Are they familiar or new? In the canine world, greetings are built around scent exchange. When dogs meet each other, they do not shake paws or make eye contact the way humans do. They circle, they sniff, they gather information. This behavior has been passed down through thousands of years of evolution. Long before dogs lived in homes, long before leashes and collars existed, scent was survival. Smell helped dogs identify friend from foe, family from stranger, healthy from sick. That instinct never disappeared. It simply followed dogs into modern life. When your dog greets a human, they are applying the same rules they use with other dogs. They are not trying to embarrass you. They are not trying to embarrass you. They are not being poorly trained. They are simply gathering information in the most efficient way they know how. From your dog's perspective, sniffing is polite, it is respectful, it is how they say hello. This is where understanding dog psychology changes everything. Humans often interpret dog behavior through a human emotional lens. We assume intention, judgment, or attitude where none exists. Dogs do not attach social shame or discomfort to scent exploration. They do not see private areas as private. They see them as informative. When you understand this, the behavior starts to feel less awkward and more logical. Dogs have up to 300 million scent receptors in their noses. Humans have around 6 million. The part of a dog's brain devoted to analyzing smells is proportionally 40 times larger than a human's. That means when your dog sniffs, they are processing layers of data you cannot even imagine. They can detect changes in hormones, adrenaline, cortisol, and even blood sugar levels. They can smell fear, excitement, anxiety, and calmness. That quick sniff your dog takes is like reading a detailed biography in seconds. This is also why dogs are often drawn to sniffing people they've just met or people who are experiencing strong emotions. If someone is nervous, stressed, or excited, their scent changes. Your dog notices immediately. That sniff is your dog saying, something is different here, I need to understand it. It is curiosity, not judgment. Another important thing to understand is that dogs live in the moment. They do not dwell on embarrassment or social awkwardness. They do not replay moments in their minds the way humans do. When your dog sniffs, they gather the information they need, and then they move on. The moment passes for them instantly. The discomfort exists only in the human mind. This behavior also has nothing to do with dominance, despite what many outdated training myths suggest. Sniffing is not a power move. It is not your dog trying to assert control. Modern canine behavior science has moved far away from dominance-based explanations for everyday behaviors. Sniffing is communication, not competition. It is how dogs understand their social world. When owners react strongly, pulling the dog away, yelling, or showing frustration, the dog does not understand the reason for the reaction. They do not connect it to social norms. They only sense tension or confusion. In some cases, strong reactions can even increase the behavior, because heightened emotion creates stronger scent signals. Your dog may actually become more curious, not less. Understanding this gives you power as an owner. When you know why the behavior happens, you can respond calmly and confidently. You can guide your dog without frustration. You can redirect them gently, using training and cues, rather than reacting out of embarrassment. Calm leadership builds trust. And trust strengthens the bond between you and your dog. It is also important to remember the dogs are not trying to sniff every person constantly. They often focus on people who are new, people who are different, or people who are experiencing emotional changes. This is why dogs sometimes seem especially interested in pregnant individuals, children, or people who are anxious. The scent profile is different. To a dog, difference equals information. This same understanding explains many other behaviors dog owners find confusing. Why does your dog sniff the ground endlessly on walks? Because the ground is a library of stories left behind by other animals. Why does your dog sniff your clothes when you come home? Because your clothes carry the scent of where you have been. Why does your dog sniff the air suddenly and freeze? Because they detected something you cannot smell at all. Once you understand the power of scent, your dog's world begins to make sense. This does not mean you should allow your dog to make people uncomfortable. Training and boundaries still matter. You can teach your dog polite greeting behaviors, such as sitting or focusing on you when meeting people. You can manage greetings with leashes and positioning. But training works best when it is rooted in understanding, not frustration. When you know the how becomes easier. Dogs thrive when their instincts are acknowledged rather than suppressed. Sniffing is a core instinct. When dogs are constantly prevented from using their noses, they can become frustrated or anxious. Allowing appropriate sniffing time during walks and interactions actually helps dogs feel calmer and more fulfilled. A mentally satisfied dog is often a better behaved dog. The next time your dog goes in for that awkward sniff, take a breath. Remember that your dog is not trying to embarrass you. They are reading the world in the only language they truly understand. What feels uncomfortable to you is, to them, a normal greeting, a moment of curiosity, a way of saying hello. When you shift your perspective, something powerful happens. You stop seeing the behavior as a problem and start seeing it as communication. You begin to understand your dog on a deeper level. You become more patient, more confident, and more connected. That understanding strengthens your bond in ways training alone never could. Dogs are honest creatures. They do not hide their curiosity or pretend to understand rules that do not make sense to them. They meet the world nose first, open and direct. When you meet them with understanding instead of embarrassment, you meet them halfway. And that is where true companionship begins. So the next time someone laughs, or you feel that familiar flush of embarrassment, remember this: your dog is not being inappropriate. Your dog is being intelligent, observant, and deeply tuned into the world. They are gathering information, building understanding, and connecting in the way dogs have always done. Once you truly understand that, the moment stops being awkward and starts being fascinating. Understanding scent behavior changes the entire relationship between a human and a dog because it replaces confusion with clarity and frustration with empathy. When an owner realizes that a dog's actions are driven by instinctive sensory processing rather than intention or attitude, the emotional dynamic shifts. The dog is no longer seen as misbehaving or embarrassing, but as communicating in the most natural way available to them. This understanding removes unnecessary tension from everyday interactions and allows the relationship to be built on trust instead of correction. Dogs form bonds through consistency, safety, and communication. Since scent is their primary language, recognizing its role means recognizing how dogs actually connect. When an owner responds calmly to sniffing behaving with embarrassment or anger, the dog interprets that calmness as security. Security is the foundation of trust. A dog that feels safe exploring their environment without sudden, emotional reactions from their owner becomes more confident and emotionally balanced. Misunderstood behaviors often create invisible barriers between dogs and humans. When an owner constantly pulls a dog away or scolds them for sniffing, the dog receives mixed signals. They are following instinct while being told they are wrong, without understanding why. Over time, this confusion can weaken communication. Understanding scent behavior removes this conflict. The owner no longer sees the dog as defiant, and the dog no longer feels corrected for being natural. This awareness also improves how owners interpret their dog's emotional state. Dogs rely on scent not just to gather information about others, but also to self-regulate. Sniffing lowers heart rate, reduces stress, and provides mental stimulation. When owners understand this, they stop rushing walks or interrupting sniffing moments unnecessarily. Walks become the reaching experiences rather than strict exercises in control. And the dog associates the owner with positive emotional states. The bond strengthens when owners begin to anticipate their dog's needs instead of reacting to behaviors they do not understand. Knowing that sniffing is a mental outlet encourages owners to provide more scent-based enrichment, such as scent games, nose work, or exploratory walks. These activities deepen engagement between dog and owner because they are built around cooperation rather than command. The dog feels understood, and the owner feels more connected to their dog's inner world. Understanding scent behavior also owners communicate more effectively. Dogs are constantly reading human scent cues, including stress, anxiety, excitement, and calmness. When owners recognize this, they become more mindful of their own emotional states. Calm handling, steady breathing, and relaxed posture all influence a dog's perception of safety. The bond grows stronger when the owner's body language and emotional signals align with the dog's needs. This knowledge reduces unnecessary guilt and self-blame in dog ownership. Many owners feel they have failed when their dog behaves in ways they cannot explain. Realizing that behaviors like sniffing are not training failures but instinctive communication relieves that pressure. Confidence replaces doubt, and confident owners provide clearer leadership. Dogs naturally trust leaders who understand them rather than those who constantly correct them. Understanding scent behavior also fosters patience. Patience is one of the most powerful tools in strengthening any relationship, especially one built across species. When owners stop expecting dogs to behave like humans, they allow dogs to be what they are. This acceptance creates a calmer environment where learning happens naturally. Training becomes guidance instead of control, and cooperation replaces resistance. The bond deepens further when owners notice how scent influences social interactions. Dogs often react differently to different people based on scent alone. Instead of labeling these reactions as random or problematic, understanding scent behavior allows owners to interpret them as responses to chemical information. This prevents misinterpretation of a dog's intentions and reduces unnecessary discipline, preserving trust. A dog that feels understood is more likely to seek connection. When sniffing is respected and guided rather than punished, dogs remain open and expressive. They are less likely to shut down or become anxious. Emotional openness strengthens attachment, and attachment strengthens responsiveness. This creates a positive feedback loop where understanding leads to trust leads to cooperation, and cooperation reinforces the bond. Understanding scent behavior also transforms how owners handle social situations. Instead of feeling embarrassed or defensive, owners become calm advocates for their dogs. Calm handling signals leadership to the dog and reassurance to other people. The dog senses the stability and mirrors it. Shared calm experiences reinforce the emotional connection between dog and owner. This awareness also helps owners recognize subtle changes in their dog's behavior. Because scent is linked to emotional and physical states, changes in sniffing patterns can signal stress, illness, or discomfort. Owners who understand scent behavior are more attentive and responsive, catching issues earlier and responding with care rather than correction. This attentiveness deepens trust because the dog's needs are consistently met. The bond strengthens when owners stop seeing behaviors as problems to eliminate and start seeing them as messages to interpret. Every sniff becomes a moment of communication rather than conflict. This shift in mindset transforms everyday interactions into opportunities for connection. Simple moments like greetings, walks, and quiet exploration become shared experiences instead of sources of tension. Understanding scent behavior also aligns expectations with reality. Dogs are no longer expected to suppress instincts that define them. Instead, those instincts are channeled appropriately. Clear expectations create emotional safety for dogs. Emotional safety is the core of attachment. When a dog knows what is allowed, guided and understood, they relax into the relationship. This understanding also reduces frustration during training. When owners know that scent is deeply rewarding, they can use it as motivation rather than fighting against it. Training becomes more effective and enjoyable, strengthening cooperation and mutual respect. The dog learns faster because it is tied to natural rewards rather than constant inhibition. A strong bond is built when both sides are understood, even if only one side can consciously reflect. Dogs do not need words to feel understood. They respond to consistency, patience, and respect for their instincts. Understanding scent behavior delivers all three. It changes how owners move, react, and guide, shaping an environment where the dog feels seen rather than managed. Over time, this understanding reshapes the entire relationship. The dog becomes more relaxed, more attentive, and more responsive. The owner becomes more confident, calm, and intuitive. Their interactions become smoother, quieter, and more connected. The bond grows not through control, but through shared understanding of how the dog experiences the world.